Hey guys, Ambience here. Today I'm going to be showing you how to beat FNaF 1 Nights 2, 3, and 4 on FNaF VR Help Wanted. That's right, today's guide will speed things up and cover the remaining 3 nights of the normal FNaF 1 levels. Sorry about the brief hiatus, especially right after an even longer one, but we are back in business and I have no intention of slowing down again for a while. The Trevor Project stream was incredibly successful, by the way. We raised a total of $1,400, and I cannot thank you guys enough for making that event awesome for me and all of the guests and coming together to support a great cause. The past 2 months of networking with other creators and trying out different forms of content have been great, but I'm a bit exhausted and ready to get back to just making guides and the occasional analysis for a little while. And besides, all those endeavors aren't what you clicked on this video to hear about. You're here for another Help Wanted guide, and I'm here to deliver a rare triple guide to you. We covered most of the basics in the last video, and I went to VR for that one, but this time around I figured I'd actually try out flat mode so that you can see how each style works. For me, I feel a bit less on edge in flat mode, but I also feel disconnected from the experience and not as in control, so it's kind of a double-edged sword in a way. Anyway, hopping into Night 2, you'll notice a big step up from Night 1. Bonnie and Chica leave earlier and are somewhat more aggressive, but they're certainly manageable if you did get through Night 1. Freddy is also able to leave the stage during the later hours, and although he's unlikely to kill you, he can make you a bit paranoid. First of all, you shouldn't use the cameras to watch Bonnie and Chica quite as much as the previous night. Just listen for them, look around semi-frequently, and use the lights when you need to. Instead, you should be directing a bit of your camera attention to Foxy over in Cam 1C. Like the original, watching him slows him down, but strangely not by nearly as much as you'd think, especially on Night 2. Something that many players don't know is that watching Foxy in this game barely affects him either way. You can keep an eye on Bonnie and Chica for most of the night, which will save a lot of power from using door lights. No matter what, Foxy shouldn't move until 4 AM, and Freddy can't move until 4 or 5 AM, so Bonnie and Chica are your only concerns for now. They can both leave the stage as early as 12 AM, so be on high alert and aware of your surroundings. The best plan is to keep an eye on the stage until they leave, then follow them around, occasionally check on Pirate's Cove if it makes you feel better, just not much. Foxy will be fine, trust me. To compensate for the monitor constantly being on in this game, flicking between cameras uses power, so try not to do that too often. Locate Bonnie, Chica, or both if you can, and stay on that camera until they leave. Once they leave, either try to locate them again, or just start checking the lights every 5 to 8 seconds and go to Pirate's Cove for a little bit to check on Foxy, your choice. There's no need to really check Foxy much before the start of 4 AM though. Speaking of cameras, if you're on flat mode, you can use keybinds to switch between the cameras. That's pretty obvious on console, but if you're on PC, you might not know that you don't have to actually click the cameras with your mouse. You can navigate to nearby ones with WASD even while looking at the doors or somewhere else. This can be useful if you need to navigate while not looking at the control panel for the monitor, but it also can only move to adjacent cameras, so you'll end up using up more power if you need to get to something far away. If you're familiar with FNaF 1's gameplay even a little bit below the surface level, you may know that Bonnie can teleport around the building, which is part of what typically makes him deadlier than Chica. Well, apparently Steel Wool decided to campaign for gender equality or some shit in the middle of remaking FNaF 1 because now Chica can teleport too! Great! Anyway, this can obviously make things pretty rough. You'll have to either follow Bonnie and Chica around on the cameras, or if you can't find them, then just check both lights every 5 to 8 seconds as usual. If you can find one but not the other, you'll obviously just want to stick to the corresponding light and ignore the other one for now. Use the lights quickly, and don't keep them on for more than a second. You want to conserve as much power as possible. Hey, you don't really need to on this night, but if you want to conserve even more power, you may not even have to use the lights at all. You should be able to see Bonnie's feet at the bottom of the doorway if he's there, even in darkness. Make sure the brightness on your device is pretty high if you can't see enough. While it's much easier to see in VR, it's still there on flat mode, but definitely harder to see. You can also see Chica through the window in the dark in a pretty similar way. If you're not able to see it, and most people can't if their brightness isn't insanely high, then you can just play normally with the lights, it's not required. If you hear footsteps, then they've made it to the halls. You should be able to tell which hall as long as you have headphones on, but if you don't, then that's okay too. Either way, if you use the light to confirm who they are and where they are, then don't keep it on for more than a split second or they'll notice you and instantly come to the door. If you leave it on for too long, they can even jump scare you immediately, so definitely watch out for that. Of course, remember that they can both teleport around, so check on them pretty regularly regardless whether that's in the cams or with the lights. Repeat this until about mid 3 a.m. Locate Bonnie or Chica, your choice, watch them until they leave, then try to find them again. Check the light for the other animatronic, left is Bonnie and right is Chica of course, as is tradition, and do that roughly every 5 to 8 seconds. If you can't find the animatronics you're tracking anywhere, quickly check the light because there's a pretty good chance that they're at the door. If they are, don't panic, shut the door, and wait until they leave. For Chica, seeing if she leaves is very simple of course, she'll be gone from the window. For Bonnie, however, it can be a little bit more complicated, but there's still a few reliable ways to know if he's gone. You should be able to see part of his shadow against the furthest wall if the light is on, but it can be tricky. If you're in VR, you can actually lean forward and look out the window to see his left arm. Technically, you can also lean out of the left door in either version, but I advise against this unless Foxy is just about to attack, as it will trigger him to run down the hall instantly. The most consistent way, albeit not the most power efficient, is to look for him in the cameras. Once you determine that he's gone by any means, go ahead and open up the door. At mid 3 a.m., your strategy will change. By this point, Foxy will be close to attacking and will likely run at early to mid 4 a.m. Switch to Pirate's Cove and stay there. Keep checking both lights every 5 to 8 seconds as usual. At 4 a.m., be prepared to hit the door at any possible moment, as Foxy can sometimes arrive very quickly. As soon as you see Foxy leave and the curtain's wide open, close the door and wait until he hits it. Unlike FNaF 1, he'll be growling and scratching the door with his hook, and opening it while he's still there will result in death. Believe it or not, they actually opted for realism this time instead of a vanishing fox. Anyway, just to be safe, keep the door shut for about 3 seconds after the noises stop. Foxy can sometimes kill you if you open it too soon. Open it up, check for Bonnie, and go back to business as usual. Side note, an actual strategy is to summon Foxy by peeking out of the left door if Bonnie's there at 3 or 4 a.m. That way you get them to attack at the same time and save some power. After Foxy's attack, he won't run again for the rest of the night, but your strategy will still differ from the early hours. Switch to the show stage and watch Freddy for the rest of the night. If you started watching Foxy too early, or if Freddy just decides to be more active, then sometimes he'll have already left. If you ever hear him laugh, that means he's moved to the next room in his route, so you'll want to switch to the dining area preemptively. Switch to the show stage and watch Freddy for the rest of the night. That is, unless he already left the show stage early while you were doing something else. So if you heard deep laughter while you were doing anything, then that means he's already moved to the next room. Go ahead and switch to the dining area. If Foxy attacked on the earlier side of things, then there is a chance that he won't move for the entire night, but sometimes he will move. If he moves to the dining area, just switch to 1B if you're not already, and problem solved. Actually, it might even be better this way since you can keep an eye on Bonnie and Chica sometimes too. Either way, just watch Freddy and he won't even be close to being a problem. If he does, then just move to the next room in his route. Either way, just watch Freddy and he won't be even close to being a problem. If he does move again, then just switch to the next room in his route, easy peasy. Foxy won't attack again, just stay sharp with checking the lights and watch Freddy constantly after the Foxy attack. Just like that, you should easily cross in the 6 a.m. with power to spare. Just like that, night 2 is done, so it's time to move on to night 3. Maybe not immediately, take a breather if you want, but remember, this is a triple guide. Night 3 is pretty similar for the most part. Watching Foxy still barely seems to affect him because he's extremely broken, so just keep tabs on Bonnie and Chica and watch Freddy earlier than you would before. If you don't watch him much, he can get to your door in the later hours, and that'll drain a lot more power than you think. Freddy in Help Wanted is annoying. Like Foxy, watching him only slows him down, doesn't completely stop him. He tends to move through rooms a lot quicker than he does in the original FNaF 1, and once he gets to your door, he stays there for the entire night with no way to get him out. As you can imagine, this drains a lot of power. He's a pretty big priority in this night because you really don't want him getting to that point. At the start, just keep the camera on the stage until Bonnie and Chica leave, then track one of them around the cameras and check the other light every 5 to 8 seconds just like before. For this night, however, you'll be alternating between tracking your chosen animatronic and watching Freddy. Spend 10 seconds on Bonnie or Chica, then switch to Freddy, spend 10 seconds on him, and switch back. Completely ignore Foxy for the first 2 hours. You'll pretty much be playing this like night 2, but spending half your camera time on Freddy. If you want to check both lights while looking at Freddy, go for it, but you'll probably be fine regardless. Just keep up the typical pattern, remember to switch the camera every 10 seconds, and you'll be fine. At mid to late 2 AM, start looking at Pirate's Cove and don't switch cameras. Foxy should be about ready to run. Prepare to shut the left door at any moment as soon as he leaves, and keep a close eye on it. Around 3 AM flat, he should run. Block him out, wait 3 seconds till he disappears, then open the door. Don't forget to check for Bonnie and Chica at the doors throughout all of this. They can be pretty sneaky, just remember, every 5 to 8 seconds. At this point, that's it for Foxy. Just focus on Freddy. He's probably left the stage by now while you were focused on Foxy, so make sure to count how many times he laughs so you can know what room he's in easily. Worst case scenario, if he gets to the east hall corner, just wait until he leaves the camera, then shut the right door for the rest of the night. Otherwise, his path goes 1A, 1B, 7, 6, 4A, 4B, and then your door. Keep track of how many times he laughs, and if he laughs, then he moves to the next room in that pattern. Just keep following him around. Keep tabs on him if he did leave the stage, and you'll be alright. Check the lights every 5 to 8 seconds, conserve power, and don't worry about Foxy after his attack. Just focus on Freddy and the lights, and before you know it, you'll be at 6 AM. Night 4 is, for the most part, surprisingly, more of the same. For some bizarre reason, however, Steelwool did apparently decide it would be funny to spoon-feed Foxy a ton of cocaine on this night in particular, so he's somehow more aggressive than he is on night 5. Whatever. Spend the first hour and a half or so watching Freddy on the stage, or wherever else he goes, and checking the lights every 5 to 8 seconds as usual. Then switch to Pirate's Cove around late 1 AM when Foxy is primed and ready to attack. Be ready to hit the door at any moment. He should run around early 2 AM, but keep checking the lights. Once Foxy's gone, close the door, wait for him to hit it, wait 3 seconds after the noises stop, you know the drill. Switch back to Freddy and keep checking the lights as normal. From here, things get a little tricky. Foxy can actually attack twice during this night, so you'll need to be ready for him again. Until then, just keep watching Freddy wherever he is, checking the lights, and playing as normal. Remember, if you're not sure if Bonnie left, you can always glance around the cameras for him real quick. Once you hit 4 AM, go back to Pirate's Cove and get ready for Foxy again. Here's the thing, on Foxy's second attack, sometimes he tends to just barrel straight down the hole and reach you in mere seconds, leaving you with very little time to react. You can't guarantee that you'll be hovering over the door button at the time he arrives while still staying safe from Bonnie and Chica, so I recommend closing the door and leaning out to intentionally trigger him right before you think he's about to attack. That way, you get his attack out of the way in a controlled environment without losing much. After he leaves, open it back up and focus on Freddy for the rest of the night. Remember to count his laughter if he moves while you're watching Foxy. Keep checking the door lights frequently and consistently as always, and you'll be good to go. If you hear Freddy laugh at any point, switch to the next camera in his route. Remember, 1A, 1B, 7, 6, 4A, 4B, and then your door. Worst case scenario, close it when he gets there and just check for Bonnie the rest of the night. If you're being diligent though, hopefully he won't get to that point. As simple as it sounds, that's really about it. Just check on Foxy before he runs, which is at the time shown on screen now. Before I plug my other socials though, how about some quick miscellaneous technical information? You guys always seem to like that in the older guides, so I figured I'd try and bring it back when I can. The animatronics movement opportunities are every 16 seconds. Unlike the regular FNaF 1, all of their movement opportunities are actually in perfect sync. However, the animatronics themselves tend to get desynced pretty quickly on the normal nights, since they fail these movement opportunities quite often. As a result, it might seem like the movement opportunities are slightly different when they really aren't. Usually some animatronics fail and some succeed, and it doesn't usually line up completely. Speaking of things inconsistent with regular FNaF 1, Foxy's singing doesn't guarantee anything unlike the original game. In FNaF 1, it means that he's still safely in Pirate's Cove, but here he can sing even while running down the hall at you right now. Oh yeah, and watching Freddy is strangely way more effective than watching Foxy. Watching Freddy constantly can stall him for multiple hours, but watching Foxy usually only stalls him for about half an hour. I'm not quite sure why Steelwool decided to make it this way, but my best guess is that they were either trying to emulate FNaF 1, where checking the camera at all would stall Foxy, or they just didn't compensate enough for an early glitch where watching Foxy on the PC VR version actually used to speed him up, which has no right to be this funny to me. Let's see, what else can I mention real quick? Nights last exactly 5 minutes and 14 seconds, meaning each hour is 52.3 seconds. Not exactly even, of course, because fractions, but close enough. If you need an excuse to stay in school, then there you go, math can actually help you out and bear a game. Also, Freddy acts differently in this game. Instead of going straight to your office from 4B, he actually arrives at your door like Bonnie. He needs another interval to get in, so you can count to a certain number before closing the door after he leaves 4B. I like to count to about 10 to be on the safer side. If you're nervous, you can go for about 5. If you need power, then you can go for 15. That's about all I've got for now. If I find out more technical stuff, then I'll let you know in the upcoming guides. Well, that's all for now. Follow this strategy and you should be able to beat the second, third, and fourth nights of the first mode. What do you think about this multi-night format? Would you like to see it continue and speed up Help Wanted, or should I work on individual guides only and just try to upload more frequently? Let me know in the comments. Speaking of which, if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below or to join my community Discord server. By joining the Discord server, you can get personalized tips on any FNaF game from myself, TruePlayer, Shooter25, and a bunch of other FNaF experts and content creators. It is a great community and I highly recommend joining. Also, if you'd like updates on all upcoming content and whatever else I'm doing, be sure to follow me on Twitter. We're growing a pretty decent community there, and it's been great to see. Once again, thanks to my good friend Bonnie360 for making the great thumbnail for this guide. He's been putting in crazy work to help supply me with thumbnails for free the past few months. He's really outstanding, and he's super good at FNaF as well, with some great completions of max modes. His channel is linked in the description and cards, so go support him. While we're on the topic of friends who helped make this video possible, also go check out Insta. He's an absolutely insane Help Wanted player and the best guy to get advice on it from. He put in quite a bit of research to help make this video accurate, mostly with Foxy and on the technical side of things. He's also linked in the description and cards. Check him out and drop a subscription if you want. With that being said, thank you guys for watching this guide. I hope it helped you, and I will see you in the next one.